Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world. Oh, goodness me. So, we're going to talk about Nancy Guthrie again today. So, we haven't talked about Nancy for a little while. Suddenly, everybody's talking about Nancy again. You know, it had practically turned into not a cold case, it had never turned into a cold case. But people were stopping talking about it for various reasons. Because it was the way to talk about. No new news, nothing from the department, nothing from the FBI, just arguments between streamers. X is full of. Don't know whoever thought that women were bitchy. These male streamers having a go at each other on X or I don't know, it's just crackers, all calling each other names, or calling each other grifters, but all doing the same thing, basically covering Nancy's case. What are all YouTubers grifters then? Just because they cover a case? Anyway, getting too dry. But of course, has been the main thing I've seen over the past month at least. There's been no real information about Nancy's case coming out, just arguments and, arrests, streamers being arrested. So basically, the news has been strangled by the police department, or the streamers have been, not allowed to sit outside the house anymore. Just various things that have happened. But in the meantime, Nancy was still missing, and whatever you think of the streamers that were maybe sitting outside Nancy's house, and maybe you might think, well, what are they still sitting out there for? But at least they were bringing attention to the case, keeping Nancy's name out there. It seems like everybody else, including the family sometimes, it's like they don't even want to talk about Nancy, or have anybody else talk about us. This literally is the weirdest case I've covered. It's a very sad case when a vulnerable 80-odd-year-old woman is stolen from her bed in the middle of the night where she should feel safe. Blood on the porch, doors open, phantom ransom notes that, was she really kidnapped? My personal opinion, no, I don't think there was ever a kidnapping. I think that Nancy was deliberately murdered, and the more, I'm coming to think it more and more as time goes on. And I think the ransom emails probably did come from the perpetrator. So they're genuine in that sense. But I don't think there was ever a kidnapping. I think it was a murder for whatever reason. Money, probably something to do with money, or grudge, vengeance. I don't know. Um, and those random. I mean, what? Let's think about what you do if you wanted to murder somebody. I might not be an expert. I'm not an ex FBI agent or an ex detective, like go on all these podcasts, etc. But I've watched enough true crime cases over years that I know that if you want to murder somebody and not get caught, one of the easiest ways to do it is to create a distraction. Sometimes people murder people. Sometimes it's not a deliberate murder, a planned murder, it just happens, in a fit of temper or whatever. And afterwards, when people panic and they're thinking, God, so they try and cover it up by making it look like an accident. It's some people that have tried to cover up murders and tried to make it look like a car accident, or somebody fell off a cliff while they were walking in a national park, when really it was them that pushed them over the edge. Or they try and make it look like somebody's been abducted, but really home. Sorry, they've been murdered in their own home, the body hidden. somewhere, and then these people say, oh yeah, I saw them yesterday morning when I left for work and they were fine, they were watching the telly or whatever. This is what people do. They create distractions. I think that's exactly what's happened in that case. Again, I want to remind you, all my opinions on my podcast, they're my opinions. That's all. And you may have a completely different opinion, and that's fine. But this is how I've come to think of this case. Nancy was either taken away or murdered there or murdered beforehand. And then all this kidnap is staging, pure performance. That's what I think. I don't think anyone went there to kidnap Nancy. Well, that's what, and until that's how I see it. Until I see any evidence to the contrary, that's how I'm going to see it. So, what we're going to talk about in this video, I've sort of lost track because I feel like we've gone from the no news about Nancy coming out to lots of news all of a sudden. So, of course, yesterday it was all being talked about the ransom notes. And what was the strange things that were said in them, like, that Nancy was now with nature. Nobody says that. The other thing somebody brings up in a podcast that I was watching today that we'll probably watch, Nancy was a religious woman. She believed in God. She attended church every Sunday, virtually. That's where she was supposed to be that Sunday when they realised she'd gone missing. She was supposed to have gone round to her friend's house to watch her service online. So why would the kidnapper not say Nancy is with God now, or with her God, or, in heaven? Why Nancy is with nature? It's really odd that. This is the weirdest case. Everything is weird about it. And people keep saying, but, we've got to bear in mind they've been saying it for months. Oh, it's on the verge of being cracked. An ex-FBI person who we're going to probably get, if we get around to it, watch Talking Today, said that they felt the FBI were right. Her source tells her that the FBI are just about to crack this case. But I have been hearing that for months, so I will believe it when I see it. So I thought what we do, because of all this kerfuffle about the ransom notes and what was said in them, they're very oddly worded as well. To me, those ransom notes in general, the more you look at them, they're worded by somebody who's quite poetic in their manner. And she's with nature now. And she perished. These are things that are said in these ransom notes. Do, hardened kidnappers or gang members, they don't talk like that, do they? Very odd way of talking, I think. So I think that's telling in itself. That's if you presume that the kidnap notes are genuine in the sense of it's somebody who knows what happened to Nancy. That doesn't mean to say that, those are two separate issues. The kidnap notes can easily be from someone who knows what's happened to Nancy. That doesn't mean to say that Nancy was kidnapped, does it? They could be a total fabrication. So these are the things. Don't forget to let me know what you think happened to Nancy. I'm going to take that banner off now. Let me know what you think, as always, in the comments. Is she in Mexico? Was she kidnapped? Is she alive? Okay, so first of all, just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for caring about Nancy in this weirdest of weird cases. Just when you think it can't get any weirder, it does. Let's chat. We're going to chat about it. Hello. Oh, and thank you to my members. There's members live stream tomorrow night. Thank you to those of you who have been very kind that bought Ko-fis or sent super stickers, etc. Thank you so much. Thank you to lovely lurkers. That's those people who like to watch my lives but don't like to comment. Thank you to replay crew. Hope you're all keeping cool, because I think there's, extreme hot temperatures all over the place at the moment. Here in Spain, where I am based, it is already 27 degrees. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning. It is so hot. So take it easy. Take it easy if you're in one of those areas that's affected by the high heat warnings. Okay, now I've got a couple of people in chat, I think. Hi, Daniel. Hi, handsome man. Yes, well, Savannah, so because of all this coming out about, the ransom notes and everything, Savannah has spoken out again, and we're going to look at that. And I thought that would be a good chance for us to look back at all the appeals right from day one, because you can see how they change. You can see that the very first appeal that was made by Savannah, Annie, and Cameron all sat together. There was hope then, I think, that Nancy was still alive. But then by the time the second appeal, well, actually the third, because Cameron did one on his own in between, I think it's pretty obvious that they think she's deceased. And then, of course, there's been further appeals only by Savannah. So really, for quite a long time now, the other siblings, Annie has never done an appeal on her own, never ever, or with Tommaso, her husband. All the appeals have either been Savannah, Annie, and Cameron, and then one appeal that was just Cameron, and then several appeals that were Savannah only. So why has Annie not? She's the one who lives around the corner. She's maybe she is, I don't know, but we're at the shop all every day handing out missing posters. Maybe the family knows them. Maybe the FBI has told them that they know who it is. Maybe these people that were detained right in the early days. I'm still not sure about this guy. Remember Luke? Daly, of course. He was detained right in the early days, in the first couple of weeks of the investigation. He was detained. His house was searched. He did this interview where this was 100. So I'm just thinking of how hot it is here today. If I was here in what he's got on there, that's Luke Daly being interviewed in 100-degree heat, where the host, Brianna Whitney, who did the interview, was in a tiny little red dress. It was boiling. He was dressed like that. And I'm just thinking, if I had to put all those clothes, I would suffocate the heat that's going on here at the moment. So my dog's trying to find her baby. I mentioned in a previous video, she's having a phantom pregnancy, and she's got this ball that she thinks is her baby, and she hides it, and now she's hid it under the chair, and she can't get it out. Oh dear God. Have you got your baby? Where's your baby? Where's your baby? Oh, she's pushing the chair out of the way. Oh my God, it'd be chaos still. I might have to get up and push the chair out of the way for her. Oh no, she's got it. So what she does is she hides it in really safe places, because it's her little puppy as far as she's concerned. And then she can't get it out. So anyway, hopefully it'll be over soon, this phantom pregnancy. So yeah, if I was sat here now in those clothes that Luke has got on, also, he changed his appearance completely. This was Luke, I think 2 years ago, with the curly hair and the facial hair. And then he did this interview, shaved his head, there's no facial hair. He's got all these clothes on, and it's 100 degrees heat. So, yeah, I'm still not sure about Luke. He hasn't been cleared officially, but we do have to remember he was detained, his car was searched, his house was searched. He was not arrested, but he hasn't been officially cleared. And then there was another guy, a delivery driver, Carlos. Same with him. He was detained, questioned, not officially cleared, but not arrested. So this literally was in the first week of this investigation. Since then, nobody has been detained. So the other people that have come under suspicion, just because naturally they are family, and also they were the last people to see Nancy, are Annie and Tommaso. So we have to remember that Annie and Tommaso, Nancy was definitely, unquestionably at their house the night before she vanished. For games night, she got an Uber there, and then apparently Tommaso brought her home. But we've seen no video of that. We've seen no video of that. We don't know, if that's true or not. Tommaso says he dropped her off. The garage door opened. She went into the house, and that was the last time that Nancy was ever seen, apart from by the perpetrator, of course. Now they've come in for a lot of suspicion. Their car was towed and taken away for quite a long time. The FBI went to their house, took photos, etc. Apparently luminol was spread around, but we don't know what was found. The sheriff, of course, of Pima County, good old Deputy Dog. Hi, Jane. Hi, Justice Jane. Yeah, the sheriff, he cleared them. But the problem with that is Sheriff Nanos, he said that all the family of Nancy and their spouses had been cleared. But the problem with Nanos is nobody believes anything he says because he's a proven liar. So I don't think people are taking any notice of that. So anyway, this is the perpetrator, thought to be the perpetrator. We've got quite good CCTV of this person or persons. I don't know if that is one person or two people. The person on the right looks slimmer. I don't know, but maybe it's just the angle. They were there at Nancy's front door. Blood was found on the porch. The back doors were propped open. But again, was it just staged? Was this whole scene staged? Personally, I think it was, but there you go. I think whoever did this to Nancy did know Nancy, knew the house, knew Nancy. I think Nancy was deliberately murdered. And then this whole kidnapping thing is just a smokescreen, a red herring. That's my opinion anyway, but I'm sure you'll let me know what yours is. So I think we'll start with the latest. It's not really an appeal. It seems like that because it's the Nancy Guthrie case has been back in the media because of all this talk about the ransom notes, etc. It felt like Savannah felt like she had to say something. I don't think it was a planned appeal. She just was on the TV because, of course, that's what she does. She's a TV presenter. I think she was on the TV and she just decided to say this because of all the information that had come out. It wasn't a planned appeal, but we're going to start with that. So let's have a look. Short. She's saying they're in agony. you know, not knowing it. I mean, I can't imagine. Can you possibly imagine? It's bad enough. You know, your mum dies. So supposing your mum was elderly, I mean, she's 84 at the end of the day, and she died. That would be unbearable. But imagine if your mum just disappeared. And not only that, there's blood on the porch. You have no idea who someone. Been a masked man at her door. How, you know, how is she even sleeping at night? I just don't know, because I can't imagine anything more horrible. Why is that wearing? There you go.
Reported that a ransom
Agony.
show
Beginning.
Savannah Guthrie made an emotional appeal to viewers to come forward with any information about her missing 84-year-old mother. It was reported that a ransom note received months ago indicated her mom died shortly after her abduction.
We are in agony, and we cannot be at peace. So now I will. I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help.
Nancy Guthrie, who lived alone in Tucson, was reported missing more than 4 months ago. The FBI released a video more than a week later from a camera outside her front door, of course, showing that man wearing a mask. Her blood found on the porch, but the case, it remains unsolved.
Now, she says, so she says, I'm going to play this video as well in a moment, actually, because that's about the ransom note. So Savannah says, we're begging for your help. We need your help. But it also transpires that Savannah was one of the people that rang up the sheriff's office complaining about the streamer sat outside in the road. So does she, what help does she want? You know, she doesn't want YouTube streamers there. Well, fair enough, maybe. But he was sat on a public road. You know, I have real mixed feelings about that, because whatever you think about the streamers, they're sat on a public road, bringing attention to Nancy's case at a time when nobody else was talking about it. And I just feel as if that was my mum, I'd be quite happy for that to happen, but I don't know. So let's just watch this video, because actually this one is about the ransom note.
Developments tonight in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. News Nation has learned that the second ransom note sent to a local Tucson television station in the days following Guthrie's disappearance stated explicitly that she had died and that 84-year-old Guthrie was, quote, buried with nature now.
A source. Nobody says that, do they? Especially to me, you know, about Nancy, because she believed in Jesus, she believes strongly or whatever. She is buried with nature. It's odd. And also, this woman is so annoying because she keeps referring to her as Guthrie. So disrespectful. News Nation is so disrespectful.
Close to the investigation tells our Brian Anton that the note indicated Nancy Guthrie's death was not intentional, but that the note also did not offer any kind of direct apology for her kidnapping or what the writer of the note claims is her death. Early hours of February 1st of this year, Ring camera video shows a masked man at her front door. Months of exhaustive searching and forensic work have yielded little in the way of credible leads or suspects. An initial ransom note, which the FBI did deem credible, demanded $4 million in Bitcoin for Nancy's safe return. This new reporting, with that supposed confirmation of Nancy Guthrie's death, is about a second deemed credible by both the FBI and the Guthrie family. And the day after receiving it, the Guthrie family posted this excruciating response.
second message. I'm going to show the first message. So there's a definite difference when they released this second message after they had that email to say that their mum was dead. But I'm sorry, I don't believe that ransom, if somebody had kidnapped Nancy for ransom and they sent the ransom note, they were asking for however $1 million it was, to be put into a Bitcoin account, and then Nancy died, I don't think they would tell the family. They just want their money, don't they? They just want their money. How many, quite often people who kidnap people for ransom, sometimes the person is already dead, or sometimes they die or they kill them so they won't identify them. I don't think they ever tell the family, oh, they're dead. Like, time is no longer of the essence, they're supposed to have said. So they're supposed to have said in the first email, time is of the essence. You've got to pay this before a certain date, or it goes up to a bigger amount. This is supposedly what the kidnappers have said. You've got to pay so much. If you don't pay that by a certain date, the price goes up. Time is of the essence. But then apparently in the second note, they said time is no longer of the essence. Just what kidnapper would do that? And also, they're sending these notes not to the family, but to news outlets and TMZ, a gossip column type, magazine type YouTube channel that, is all about Hollywood gossip. Just doesn't make sense, does it? It's weird. This whole case is weird. Why would a hardened kidnap gang even care that Nancy was dead? They didn't care enough about her to kidnap her, and there's blood all over the porch and what, they're not, it's not Mother Teresa that has taken Nancy away and so solicitous for her welfare. They couldn't give a shit about her welfare. So why are they saying things like she's buried with nature? And so I don't feel like those I feel like the kidnap notes are genuine in the sense of whoever sent them knows what's happened to Nancy, but I don't believe it's some sort of kidnap gang or that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. When all the truth of this comes out, I could be completely wrong. Well, I'll just accept that then, but this is where I am now.
Celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us. And we will pay.
Even Savannah's language is strange, isn't it? This is very valuable to us. So it's just odd language, don't you think? What's weird about it? It's so weird, this case, the whole thing. Wouldn't you say, look, please just tell us where she is and we'll pay because we just want to bring her back? Why would you make it cryptic and say, unless maybe they'd been told to, why would you make it cryptic and say, oh, can we have her back so we can celebrate with her? What a weird thing to say. It got everyone thinking, what does she mean by that? What does she mean by that? Why not just openly say, we understand, what you're saying. You're saying our mother is dead, and can we have the body back, please, so we can lay her to rest in a dignified way? Why put it in all this weird language? It's weird. This whole case is weird, isn't it?
Full ransom was never paid. So just what does this information mean for investigators? Let's bring in News Nation Senior Nation National Security.
I'm not going to listen to them. So, and not that I don't like them or anything, but it's not relevant to what I'm talking about here. Let me just come back to the chat. Exactly. Sorry, I'm reading the chat now. So yeah, why not pay what they wanted? So they put a little taster amount of money, didn't they, in that Bitcoin account? So apparently neither the emails nor the Bitcoin account has been traced. $100 in the Bitcoin account. Nobody's going to risk being caught by taking out $120, are they? Portfolio, maybe I think it's worth sort of withdrawing it and taking the chance. I still can't track down this Bitcoin account. I mean, I don't know anything about Bitcoin, so God, is it that untraceable that even the FBI can't find it? And also they can't find these IP addresses. So the thing is, whoever has done this, that's the other thing, we've got to remember this. Whoever has done it, emails, put a Bitcoin wallet, they know what they're doing. Because even 6 months later, the FBI, as far as we know, I mean, they may have traced it and we just don't know, hasn't been able to trace it. Now, could you do that? I couldn't do it. I couldn't set up a Bitcoin wallet and it was traceable to the FBI. I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have to set up an email IP address that was untraceable to the FBI. So this is somebody who knows the technology. Is the technology likely to be a kid? Like some gang or a attack that they're talking about who gone wrong. The whole things don't correlate together, do they? Unless you think it's just a decoy that actually the person who has sent these who has set up this Bitcoin wallet is just all ploy to people think it's kidnapping. Really, it's just plain old-fashioned. Somebody wanted Nancy out of the way for whatever reason, and the normal motives for murder are either money or sex, really, isn't it? Or custody battle. You haven't got a great big range of reasons that people murder people. They're not, except maybe in a moment of passion, I suppose, or mental health issues. But, there are very few motives. They all, the police will say that. Follow the money. Money and sex are the most common reasons people murder each other. So, did somebody owe Nancy money, or did somebody stand to benefit if Nancy dies from her money? And that, of course, makes you look at the family. Was there any? But don't forget, with a family inheritance, Nancy has to be found to be dead. Otherwise, there's no inheritance. For as long as Nancy is missing, no, insurance policies won't be paying out, death, inheritance of assets and things. It has to be dead before any of that can happen. Is that another reason why the second ransom note was sent? Oh, she's dead now. So when it comes to the point of trying that she's dead, declared dead, inheritances can be cashed in. Another reason for it. Really weird. I just think, and every time these robbers or kidnappers or whatever, every time they contact TMZ, they're putting themselves in the firing line for being caught. People don't do that. Criminals in general do that. Unless there's a reason for them to do it. They don't, sometimes serial killers do it because they like to brag, but this isn't a serial killer, is it? Or as far as we know. Why would they put themselves in jeopardy of being caught by sending another note to TMZ? Then, of course, TMZ got another load of emails, didn't they, from another person, can't be traced, saying they weren't the perpetrator, but they knew what had happened. How many? This is just ludicrous. Just does it's weird. It's weird. It all feels wrong to me. Feels wrong. It's all staged, in my opinion. It's all staged, and these emails to TMZ are all part of that staging to keep people off track. I mean, look at what happened. If you create enough possible other scenarios, it all gets lost, doesn't it? And the real perpetrators never get caught. In the can. Many cases where there's been sightings, you know, if you murdered someone, the best way to cover it up is to phone the police with a load of anonymous fake tips. Oh, I've seen that person, New York, you know, with a man, or I've seen that, or send it, oh, they were kidnapped, sending fake notes. I mean, it, to me, stage to muddy the waters, to put up a smoke screen. And I think the real person who took Nancy and killed her is someone known to Nancy, someone familiar with Nancy's house. And when it all comes out, I think it'll be a surprise to people. That's what I think, anyway. Scripted, Jane. Yeah, that's my opinion. But, you know, it's only an opinion. I don't know. So let's just have a look at the very first interview, the direct appeal from, was this the first one? Yeah, when just after Nancy had disappeared, Savannah posted this on Instagram. This is what we're going to look at now. And she's reading off a script. That seems strange to me because, I mean, obviously the FBI probably have told her, you know, what to say, do you think? But I don't think I would have to read from a script. I don't think I would want to read from a script. I'd just be saying, you know, unless the FBI had said to me, look, you need to read this script, why would you read it? Wouldn't you just be heartfelt what you said? But yeah, maybe she was told to read something specifically. So they were all there. This was the very first family appeal. So we've got Annie and Cameron and Savannah.
To bring you right now, just a few message on Instagram pleading for the safe return of her mom, Nancy. We want to play that for you in full.
On behalf of our family, we want to thank all of you for the prayers for our beloved mom, Nancy. We feel them, and we continue to believe that she feels them too. Our mom is a kind, faithful, loyal, fiercely loving woman of goodness and light. She's funny, spunky, and clever. She has grandchildren that adore her and crowd around her and cover her with kisses. She loves fun and adventure. She is a devoted friend. She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
The light is missing from our lives.
Now, she says, talk to her and you will see. So it's obvious in this appeal, she felt that there was a chance that Nancy would still be alive. So otherwise she wouldn't say that, would she? Talk to her and you will see. Then Annie starts talking.
Nancy is our mother. We are her children. She is our beacon. She holds fast to joy in all of life's circumstances.
Now see how Annie, she is a poet and she is poetic as she speaks. She is our beacon, you know, and we've seen a few times and his poetry. It's quite dark as well, isn't it? There's a lot of talk about death, etc. You know, anyway.
She chooses joy day after day, despite having already passed through great trials of pain and grief. We are always going to be merely human, just normal human people who need our mom. Mama, if you're listening, we need you to come home. We miss you.
It's quite performative, isn't it? But of course, she is a poet, so she's going to be dramatic. She is a creative person. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Yeah, well, as far as the streamers outside Nancy's, yes, they were making money. Of course they were. That's what streamers do. That's how YouTube works. But I didn't think they were doing anything wrong, personally. The other thing is, whether you agree with them or not, you either agree with freedoms or you don't. You know, that to me is like, it's a real conundrum, isn't it? Because you either agree with the right to freedom to stand on a public road and make a video, or you don't. You can't qualify it with like, oh, well, yeah, you can stand on a public road and make a video as long as it's this. You know, it's either, you know, so I'm really torn with that. The other thing is, I do feel that that horrible neighbour, that Sue Ellen, who sort of covered the easement with cactuses and dog excrement, she should have been arrested. You know, what, how are you allowed to do that? But you can't stand on a public road and make a video. I'm not saying that I agree with Alex, and it's not only Alex, is it? There's a few streamers, it wasn't just him. He's probably, Alex doesn't do himself any favours because he uses a lot of bad language and stuff like that. People don't like that, which is fair enough. But things, you can't make laws up to suit you because you get irritated. It's not against the law to irritate someone. You know, if there's not a law there, you can't make one up. You know, just because you don't like that streamer or he's swearing or whatever, you just can't do. It's one thing or another. That's, you know, so I am. How do they differentiate? Does that mean if I went over to Arizona tomorrow and wanted to stand outside Nancy's house and make a video, would I be arrested? Why? And why? If yes, arrested for what? And if no, well, if I'm not arrested, why was Alex arrested? So, anyway. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, bless me. So, yeah, it's a very difficult point. You know, either you believe in freedom or you don't. America's supposed to be the land of the free, but I think America is the land of the not so free these days, anyway. Hey, Louise. How are you? Hope you're well, Louise. So, let's carry on listening to this.
Mom is our heart and our home. She's 84 years old. Her health, her heart is fragile. She lives in constant pain. She is without any medicine. She needs it to survive. She needs it not to suffer. We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices.
So just want to interject there. So that was another very strange thing when she said we want to talk. But remember, these kidnappers left no avenue for the family to speak to them. That was another weird thing about the kidnap notes. So normally, when kidnappers leave a note, you know, they leave a way that you can contact them to arrange for the ransom to be paid. They've not been. They left no avenue of contact. You know, they did all their contact through the media. Just never happens. It's weird. These kidnap notes are not genuine in my eyes. They may be from the people who did whatever they did to Nancy, but I don't believe it was a genuine kidnap. It's a smokescreen. Who kidnaps someone and doesn't leave a way for them, you know, to contact them to arrange the payment? It's ridiculous.
And images are easily manipulated. We need to know without a doubt that she is
that was strange, wasn't it? I remember thinking that at the time. I said, you know, we live in this age where images can be manipulated. So had they had an image of Nancy? Don't forget, Savannah also said later on that Nancy was taken out of the house in pajamas with no shoes on, no slippers, no socks. How does she know? Were they sent an image of Nancy? And that's why she's saying no images can be manipulated. You know, we need proof she's alive. Well, it never came, did it? Proof of life never came. And then the next minute it was, oh, she's dead. She's with nature. Rubbish.
You have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us. Mommy, if you are hearing this, you are a strong woman. You are God's precious daughter, Nancy. We believe and know that even in this valley, He is with you. Everyone is looking for you, Mommy, everywhere.
Yeah, not really.
We will not rest. Your children will not rest until we are together again.
Yeah, they weren't really. She wasn't being looked for, was she? Well, apart from the first initial days, I don't know that she's being looked for now. And of course, the police department refused all help from outside searchers who offered to help. Even, you know, it's that massive desert area, and Pima County said no, we don't want any outside help. So that I don't feel that is true. I don't feel that Nancy was looked for extensively. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe the police feel that they know who it is, that Nancy is dead, and eventually when they can prove that this person has done it, they will give them information to her whereabouts. But the whole thing just feels totally weird to me.
We speak to you every moment, and we pray without ceasing, and we rejoice in advance for the day that we hold you in our arms again. We love you, Mom.
Love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you, Mom. We love
So yeah,
well, thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news. And
they were definitely thinking that Nancy was alive there, because they are literally addressing Nancy, aren't they? Talking to Nancy. So let's go now to the second one again, just so the difference in tone is marked, really, isn't it? Because the tone of that one, definite feeling that Nancy is still alive, and then this next one, the opposite. Sad, actually. Yeah. And probably what happened in between was that other ransom note saying she was buried with nature.
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Yeah. Again,
Savannah Guthrie and her siblings now appealing to.
Watch the language. This is very valuable to us. What a weird way of speaking.
Received your message. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace.
Do we think that's odd language? Please, we beg you, return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we can have peace. Most people wouldn't talk like that, would they?
This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Savannah Guthrie and her siblings now appealing directly to whoever kidnapped their mother a week ago.
Welcome to 12 News at 6. I'm Kariba Devine.
And I'm Mark Curtis. As you heard, the family is saying they're willing to pay to get their mother back.
12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra is live outside of Nancy's home. And Gabby, this video is just heartbreaking. You can hear and see the desperation in their faces and voices.
Yeah, Karibe, this case just keeps getting more and more emotional, but investigators are saying put with their mindset on finding Nancy. The search continues today, but as we've seen, it's moving farther away from her home. We saw some deputies appear to be searching areas of brush or washes within about a 1-mile radius of Nancy's home. We also visited several businesses along Oracle Avenue, which is not far from here, and we spoke with those people who work there, and they say that they've been visited by investigators who are asking to see surveillance video. Now, the sheriff's office, when asked about this, says this is just standard procedure for any investigation, and they continue to say that they have no suspects, people of interest, or vehicles in this case. They're also telling us today that they were reviewing evidence, and at this time they will not confirm or release details regarding what is being analyzed. That statement comes after we saw a car being towed away, a blue SUV from Nancy's home yesterday, and NBC News confirms that car did belong to Nancy Guthrie. Neither the FBI nor the sheriff's office has legitimized 2 ransom notes sent to KOLD TV, a local TV station here in Tucson. And KOLD reports the second note appears to be in response to Savannah Guthrie's videos posted earlier this week. The first note had a deadline for a Bitcoin transfer by Monday. I asked a retired Phoenix police commander if he thinks investigators are feeling any pressure from that deadline, and here's what he said.
You can't. You have to take everything in a very objective, calm way. You can't get sucked in emotionally. They're checking all social media accounts. They're checking all phone data points off the towers. They're checking all cameras associated with intersections. They're doing license plate reads. They're doing facial recognition. They're eliminating possible suspects.
Now, look, that's the memorial that's gone now. Every time anyone puts any flowers there, they're taken away. But somebody doesn't want any memorial there for Nancy.
Is asked to take a physical box of where those recordings are stored with the promise to return it to him. And even though we've seen these videos from Savannah Guthrie, they're very emotional. The sheriff's office continues to tell us, the FBI continues to tell us that they have not proven that these ransom notes are real, and they tell us that they are taking them very seriously, as it appears the family is as well. And the FBI is now offering a $50,000 reward to anyone who helps return Nancy home or helps leave.
The FBI gets shared a a reward, but of course, you know, the Guthrie family have offered a reward of over $1 million. So let's now just look at Cameron. So Cameron did an appeal on his own, sort of in between all this for some reason, demanding proof of life. You know, so there's been quite a few appeals, but not recently. And Annie has never made an appeal except with the other two. But yeah, Louise,
we need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
All right, we're going to go back to Tracy in a moment. Liz,
I just need.
You've seen this video now, or viewers have seen this?
Yeah, Louise, I think
We had this
sometimes
new
they
video
do say
from
very strangely.
Savannah's brother that's just been
But what
posted
are
on social
normal
media. They just
things? I
released it.
don't
Let's
know.
play it for our viewers, please.
This is Cameron Guthrie. I'm speaking for the Guthrie family. Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to contact.
All right, we're going to go back to.
Yeah, so waiting for contact. What kidnappers? Contact a family and ask for $4 million or whatever it was, and don't give the family a way of contacting them to arrange to pay the money. Doesn't make sense, does it? Hi, Lily. Hi, Lily. How are you? The memorial, no, I don't think it was on Nancy's land. I think it was on the corner, on the easement. I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. Maybe it was on Nancy's land. But, you know, people came from miles to lay flowers and messages of support. But nobody knows who's taken it either. So if the family had taken it, why don't they say, oh, look, we'd prefer that people don't. The family have said nothing about the memorial. The neighbourhood watch committee, they complained about it, told people to give money to charity instead of leaving flowers. Fancy trying to tell people how to show their respects. That neighbourhood are awful, absolutely awful. And then one of the neighbours, that horrible Sue Ellen, she put all cactus and dog excrement on the easement so that the streamers couldn't sit there. You know, they're not normal, that neighbourhood association. They're living in the centre of where an 84-year-old woman was stolen from her bed and the perpetrator's still not been found yet, but they're trying to pretend that it never happened.
To Tracy in a moment. I want to get right out to Liz Kreutz, who's been leading our coverage out there in Tucson. Liz, so you've seen this video now, our viewers have seen this video. It's upsetting because it sounds like this deadline's approaching and the Guthries have not been contacted about how to make contact with this alleged abductor if this is legitimate.
Exactly, Tom. I mean, I'll tell you, it's 5:11 right now where we are in Tucson. So 10 minutes after this first deadline, we know from the FBI that there were two deadlines. There's this 5 o'clock deadline today, and then there's the deadline on Monday. And so clearly they are trying any kind of avenue they can to make it known and project and telegraph to whoever this may be that they want to negotiate, they want to talk, and they are willing to. When Savannah and her family put that video out 24 hours before the deadline, it would seem, and we could maybe glean from this, that to no avail. They haven't been able to make any kind of communication. So they're continuing with this video as well. And we're hearing now really from the brother for the first time too. And I thought it was notable, Tom, that at the press conference, the FBI special agent in charge, when he was asked, at what point do you just decide, okay, this isn't legitimate? What's the bar where you'll say, okay, I guess this was a hoax? He didn't give an exact answer, but he did say that usually in these sorts of situations, he said by now, typically we would have been able to make contact with somebody like this. So remains to be seen if they're going to be successful. And again, this is just a reported note. We don't know the validity of it.
It's incredibly frustrating, right? And let's just so our viewers are clear, right? It is still unclear if these ransom notes, we believe there are two of them, are.
Anyway, So yeah, that was Cameron's appeal that he did on his own. As I say, he's done appeals on his own. Savannah's done appeals on her own. We're going to watch another one of Savannah's. Annie's never done an appeal on her own, only the two with the other two siblings. Let's have a look at this one that Savannah made. Oh, it's very weird. I think this is literally the weirdest case I've ever covered. And let's not forget, you know, Nancy's at the centre of it. And Nancy, she's had all the trials and tribulations she's gone through in her life. You know, she lost her husband when she was only in her 40s. She had to bring up the 3 children on her own. You know, she's had financial problems in the past. I mean, I think she was quite comfortable by the time she died. You know, and I know she's got that lovely big house, but just because someone's got a big house doesn't mean to say they're financially comfortable. You don't know what's going on in the background. But all those trials and tribulations that you go through in life, and you get to 84 and you're supposed to be in your golden years, you're at home asleep in your bed, apparently, and you just, some masked man comes in and wish you away and you're dead. You know, it's just disgusting, isn't it, really? Let me just make sure this is sharing, because we're going to look at this was another appeal put on Instagram just by Savannah.
Dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second.
Back to the beginning. I found this one the most upsetting appeals. Savannah looks very upset on this. Appeal, you know, just you can tell that it's all getting just awful. I'm talking about it. This video.
I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then, of worrying about her, and fearing for her, aching for her, and most of all, just missing her. Missing her. Millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return, and we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope.
Yeah, Annie's the poet on the embers of hope. Everything Annie says is poetic, isn't it? Bit like, you know, buried with nature.
We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves.
Yeah.
And is dancing in heaven.
Dancing in heaven, gone home to the Lord that she loves. Nancy was a religious person. So why have the kidnappers said this weird thing, buried with nature? Why not dancing in heaven, or Nancy is a religious person?
and with her beloved brother Pierce, and with our dad.
Yeah, so they had, you know, Nancy, Piers was her brother, Nancy's brother Piers. He was Down syndrome and he died. Of course, her husband had died, her mum and dad had died. That's a more natural sort of progression, isn't it? You expect your parents to die before you. But of course, Nancy's husband had died only in his 40s, had a massive heart attack. And then her brother, Piers, who had Down syndrome, he died. So she'd been through quite a lot of tragedy, Nancy, in her life.
If this is, but we need to know where she is.
Where is she?
We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line or home. Somebody knows.
Nobody did.
We also know that we are not alone in our loss. We know that with this kind of uncertainty. And for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 for their work in helping families who are coping with loss and actively looking for those who are lost. We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our family will extend to all the families like ours and need support. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
Please be the light in the dark. Now, and that, despite offering that massive reward of $1 million, nobody, as far as we know, has come forward. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Hope you're well. Yeah. So despite offering this massive reward, no one has come forward. You know, thank you. I think it's Lily who said she likes my hair. This is my last resort hair because it's so hot and I couldn't be bothered washing my hair. I can't have it down. I just wanted to get it off my neck, you know, because it's so hot. So it's my Princess Leia look, or whatever happens to Baby Jane look, whichever way you look at it. I don't care. It's just cool. I like it. I like it. Some people will like it. Some people won't. But thank you anyway. Yeah. Now I haven't got much time now, so I'm going to have to just sum up. Now, there were other things, videos I was going to show you, but I've got to go. So TMZ, recently, yes, this is how quick things are changing. Yeah, TMZ said that they offer documentary, and they say FBI, they would put some money in the Bitcoin account to try and attract, get the person, whoever it was, to take it out of the Bitcoin account, and that they were going to do a documentary. And they said that before that, the FBI had been in contact with them, but after that, the FBI stopped contact with them. So they thought they upset the FBI. Now, then just a couple of hours after saying that, now it turns out the FBI have been in contact now with TMZ, or now they're saying that they are back in contact with them again. And they said that the only reason they stopped being in contact with TMZ was because they're nearly, they've got more information now. And they stopped the contact because things were happening behind the scenes. So what's the truth? What's the truth? And listen, this is what TMZ say. Now is something just about to blow in this case? It makes you wonder. So trouble is, it's all speculation, but TMZ are coming out publicly and saying these things. Let me make sure it's sharing. So our FBI source says the agency is still actively looking for the person and believes agents will find the individual. We offered to do a documentary on the case and pay the Bitcoin to the person who wrote the emails, but the FBI source asked us to stand down because they are making headway. We're also told, and this is very important, we're also told the FBI believes that the person who wrote the emails may be a woman. There's definitely a woman involved in this case. Definitely. 100% there's a woman involved. So the FBI source reiterated something they had told us months ago. The case will be solved. Probably by someone bragging about the kidnapping, or a second lover. A scorned lover who goes to authorities to blow the whistle on their ex. This is what quite often happens, isn't it? So this is where we are. This is where we are. New news every day now about the ransom notes. Are they genuine notes? Well, I think they're, I think they're genuine notes in the sense they were received. But I think they're a smokescreen, in my opinion, as to what really happened to Nancy. What do you think? Do you think they were written by a woman? Do you think they're a bit poetic? Buried with nature. Nancy's buried with nature. Who says that? If you were describing someone as being, you've murdered someone or they've died in your care, would you say, oh, they're buried with nature now? You'd say, oh, they've gone, back to their maker, or... Well, you wouldn't say it. Personally, I don't think you'd say anything. But if you were going to say anything, it wouldn't be buried with nature. Really odd, really weird. And I still believe, because, ages ago, I had, hi, David. Ages ago, I had I don't know how to describe it, a premonition. Like Nancy's in a well somewhere. I still stick to that. I think she's nearby, not that far away from where she lives. Or that area generally. She'll certainly be close by wherever the perpetrator lives. I don't think she's in Mexico. I think that's all smoke screens as well. If I'd buried Nancy somewhere that I didn't want her to be found, well, it's obvious, isn't it, to ring up anonymously and say, oh, by the way, Nancy's buried in Mexico. it makes sense to do that. Then everybody focuses in on a while on Mexico again. People are out there digging for Nancy just because some anonymous person has rang up and said that you don't believe everything, every tip that people give. I'm not talking about the FBI there. I'm talking about, just generally social media and that. We can't just believe everything we hear. Where's the proof? Joanne, it's not me who says there's a woman involved. It's TMZ that say there's a woman involved, or their source has said there is a woman involved. That's what they said on that article that I just read out. I think quite likely, what they said was that it's likely that those emails were written by a woman. Again, not definite, just saying that the FBI think that they may have been written by a woman. I think they have got a womanly touch. I do think there is a feminine tone to them. I don't believe that hardened kidnapping gangs would you talk in that flowery poetic language, would they? She's buried with an H. Strange, isn't it? That's my opinion. Hardened gangs, would they talk like that? Right, David, your message has been hidden again, but I'm going to show it. They don't like you. I don't know what you said on that. You said, in my opinion, Nancy left us on or after that night. What? Oh, sorry, I was trying to show David's message. Just has it gone? I thought I'd allowed to be. I just wanted to try and show people, because sometimes people think I've hidden their message. It's not me. But David put a message, in my opinion, Nancy left us on or after that night. And it says this message is held for review. And then I showed it, but I can't see it. But anyway. I just want people to know that YouTube sometimes just hides really weird, messages that you can't. What's wrong with that message? Very odd. YouTube's is a weird. Trying to understand YouTube laws or norms about what messages are allowed is about as difficult as trying to understand what happened in the Nancy Guthrie case. Right, what else have I got? I don't think I've there's loads of things that I could show you, but as I say, I do have to go, so I've got to be. I think I've covered most of the things that I wanted to say. So we've got all this intrigue and contradictions about what the messages actually entailed. We still don't know because we've not had any official confirmation. And we probably won't while it's an ongoing investigation, which is fair enough. But yeah, a lot of people now, a lot of these, ex-FBI profilers, like Maureen, I like her, she's very good. She said that her sources have told her this is on the brink of being solved. But, I have heard things like that ever since February, when it first happened, or end of January. So I don't know. It'd be good, wouldn't it? I do think, sadly, that Nancy is deceased. But you're good. If she could be recovered, take dignity, she deserves that. She deserves it. She deserves to be laid to rest with dignity. So, something about to break this case. Will Nancy ever be found? Is it someone very close to her? I think it's definitely someone who knew Nancy and knew the house. Whether a family, whether there's this poetic connection or not, I don't know. And, you know, it seems cruel to slay family, but, you know, the last people alive, that is just the facts. You know, if you see someone and then the next minute they disappear, you're always going to be a suspect, aren't you? Until the proper perpetrator is found. So I should imagine if Annie and Tommaso are innocent, then they must be dying for some part from the fact that, you know, to be caught. They pulled it from to be caught, so people stop looking at them sideways. But they're not, you know, I don't think they've really done anything to help find Nancy, or not that I'm aware of. They've never made any appeals. They're not out there giving out leaflets or sitting outside giving leaflets to people who go by. Did you ever see anything strange happen? You know, encouraging the neighbours to ask questions. They're there trying to stop people asking questions. That to me is suspicious personally, but you know, who am I? I don't know. So, but yeah, the most important thing, as you say, Louise, is the poor lady, because at the end of the day, Nancy did not deserve, you know, unless she's a twonk that we didn't know about, she didn't deserve this turning up at a door in the middle of the night. Imagine you lay in bed asleep and you wake up and that's looming over you. Terrifying. If that's what happened, if that's how it went down, that would be terrifying for this lady. And you wouldn't be surprised if she did have a heart attack, really. I'd have a heart attack if I suddenly woke up this looming over me. Wouldn't you? Just awful. Poor woman. Get through all the trials and tribulations that life throws at you. You get to 84 and then that happens. Anyway, so it feels like it's gathering momentum at the moment. I hope so. Feels like after a big lull, nobody much talking about it, not much information. Is it now gathering momentum? Is something going to break? Well, don't forget to subscribe and press your notification buttons, because hopefully very soon we'll be getting news about this case. So listen, thank you for watching. Thank you for caring about Nancy. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God go with you. Thank you so much. And keep cool. Gosh, I think I'm going to have to go for a siesta again today.